Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and here with me today I have one of these diamonds in the rough himself, Chizi Umunakwe. He's a linebacker out of Central Connecticut State. Nice to have you with me, sir.
Thank you. I'm blessed to be here. It's a pleasure to be on the program with you, Jimmy.
So, Chiz, I know you have a little bit of a journey to you. I mean, you were at Towson, you transferred over. There's a lot going on for you, a lot of all conference accolades and things of that nature. But before we get going with all that, give me some background. Tell me where you're from and kind of walk me through this journey a little bit of you getting to where you are today.
So I'm from the Bronx, New York. Originally, I was born in Nigeria. I came to the country when I was 8 years old with my family. It was me, my two younger brothers. I have an older sister, older brother, and my mom and dad. We got here in 2008, and we've been in the Bronx ever since. And I want to say I started playing football my sophomore year of high school. So I never really got the, experience to be playing as, Pop Warner or Pee Wee, like everybody else did. I was a soccer kid growing up. That was my passion, was soccer when I first started. So once I got to high school and I started getting bigger, stronger, everyone was telling me like, yo, you should be playing football, you should be playing football. And, once I put on the pads, I just fell in love with the sport, and I just ran with it ever since, So yeah.
Gotcha. So again, like you said, born in Nigeria, came over and then reside in the Bronx, and then of course majorated at some of these universities. You said you started the game of football kind of late. I think a lot of people get to it earlier on, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's mostly because in Nigeria, I don't know if they have football, so that's just kind of how that goes. Did you play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, there's no football in Nigeria.
Did you play any other sports?
Yeah, so when I first got here, I played outside league on a soccer team at South Bronx United. I played there up until 8th grade, middle school 8th grade. Then I tried out for the basketball team, and I remember making a basketball. I tried out 6th and 7th grade. I didn't make the team, and then 8th grade year was my first time being like a part of a school organized sports program, and that was exciting. I remember I scored 28 points in the playoffs, and mind you, I'm just a 13-year-old middle school kid. And I go home and I'm telling my dad, like, yeah, I'm going to go to the NBA. Like, that's what I want to do is basketball, just dreaming as big as possible, honestly. And from there, I got to high school. I made the team my freshman year for basketball in high school, but I didn't really get as much minutes as I wanted to. And, that kind of hurt my confidence a little bit. So I wanted to try a different sport. So I looked into football, and I was getting ready to try out for the Truman football team before I ended up transferring to John F. Kennedy High School, and funny story was they have this thing called Summer Bridge Program, right? So it's basically you get acquainted into the school before you actually go into the school. So in the summertime, we're going to summer classes, getting to see the school, meet the teachers and stuff. And we go see this movie. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called When the Game Stands Tall. It's a football movie. And it's about this team down south. They had like this unbelievable winning streak and probably like the largest in high school football history. And it's basically about how the entire program was founded on brotherhood and team camaraderie. But the school kind of made it about that streak that they had and winning. And then they had a new group of class who kind of had that mindset that they just wanted to come in, win, get all the shine, all the glory. And then when they had their first loss was when everything changed. They thought they were invincible, and they had their first loss like ever in program history, like after that long winning streak. and it just showed how they were able to rebuild and come together as a family. And it was just such a great football movie. And after I saw that movie, I was like, yeah, I think I want to play football now. So that was the movie that really inspired me to play football. I remember I came back the next day and I was like, yeah, let me talk to the football coach, see if I could try out for the football team. So I talked to the JV coach. He brings me to the football field. He goes, throws football as far as he can. So I've never really played organized football. I probably play like backyard football, you know what I'm saying? Like 2-hand touch, tag and stuff. So I throw it as far as I can. I threw about 55, 60 yards. And he goes, run as fast as you can and go grab it. So I run down the field, pick it up, come back and give him the ball. And he calls me an African gazelle. And he's like, all right, I think you have our new quarterback for JV. And I was just so excited. I wasn't even sure what a quarterback was at the time. So I was like, hey, I'm a part of the team. And like that's really where it all began.
So you were a quarterback first, you said, right? I mean, is that kind of how it was?
Yeah, so funny. So I played quarterback for about 2 practices. Once they saw like I couldn't get the arm mechanics, I was basically throwing the ball like a baseball. Yeah, I didn't have any quarterback mechanics, so I would throw it like a baseball. And they was like, all right, you know what? Let's try moving this kid to the slot. So they moved me to a slot receiver and just had me running jet sweeps. And I remember our first home game, I had 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 receiving. And that was when they was like, okay, we can use him as a slot receiver.
So, obviously you're a linebacker now, right?
Yeah.
And at least per my notes, you're standing at about 6'1", 225. And that kind of puts you a little bit everywhere, there as a linebacker. You can work inside. I know you can work outside a little bit. But let's talk about this journey, man. You made your way to Towson. And then eventually from Towson, you transferred to Central Connecticut State. Can you talk a little bit about these 2 universities?
Yeah, so Towson University, it was a great institution. I had a great time over there at Towson. I actually, out of high school, I went to a prep school called Trinity Pauling, and I was getting recruited by Towson and a UConn coach, John Woley. So Coach John, he was he was at UConn at the time, and his best friend was a defensive coordinator, Coach Tim Carey, who was a defense coordinator at Trinity Pauling. So he was the one that presented me with the option of trying out to do a postgraduate year at the school. I didn't know anything about postgraduate. I didn't even know you could reclassify in high school. So once I went, I got in touch with the school. They liked me a lot. And we went forward with the process. Everything was a success. But Towson, they were also in the mix as well, where they were recruiting me out of high school before I went to Trinity Pauling. And once I got to Trinity Pauling, Coach Tricario, he was a great recruiter. He would always check up on me. He came to my football games after the season. I did wrestling. He came to some of my wrestling matches. So, I felt the connection and a sense of loyalty towards him, just how much, he just kept checking on me and he kept recruiting me and everything. So I ended up committing to Towson out of high school, for that reason. I also got offered by URI, University of Rhode Island, out of high school. That was like right after Towson. Towson was my first Division I offer. So once I took the visit, I liked the experience. I met some great friends on the visit that I thought, we could really come in and really, have a great impact on the program. So that was my experience at Towson. When I got there, I played as a freshman. I played as a true freshman. It was only 2 of us that played my freshman year. It was me and my roommate Jamal Gay. We were the only 2 freshmen that played that freshman year while everybody else redshirted. And I remember just being so excited to make the field. I played all special teams. Just being able to travel. Like it was a totally new experience for me. Just a kid from the Bronx. All of a sudden, I'm playing Division I football. I'm traveling to all these different states, sleeping in hotels, having all these meetings. You know what I'm saying? It was just a great experience, and I loved every minute of it. Although I only played special teams, it was still such a just a great experience overall. My freshman year, and then coming back my sophomore year, was an even better experience. So we had transitioned from having a 3-4. We went from being a 4-3 defense to being a 3-4 defense. So we had more linebackers on the field, and we had a whole new defensive coordinator, Coach Eric Daniels. And I remember his motto was to solve everything with aggression. So he liked fire zones. He liked a lot of man blitzes. And for me, that was what I fell in love with. Like, I just love blitzing A, B, C gaps. You know what I'm saying? Whenever my number is called and I got a blitz, I just come down and, you know what I'm saying, just make a mess and hit somebody hard. You know, that's the name of the game. So I had a great spring that year. I remember Coach Ambrose at the time. He was a Towson head coach. You know, after that spring, he came. He talked. We would have our end of the year, you know, meetings with all the players and everything. And you know, he told me, he said, "Yeah, like, you know, you're probably one of the players that made some of the biggest strides coming from the fall into the spring." Because when I came in as a freshman, I'll be honest with you, I never I never played middle linebacker before. At Trinity Pauling, I played running back, outside linebacker, and strong safety or nickel safety. So I wasn't used to playing in the box and having to read, you know, you got to read the center, the guard, the tackle, read the whole surface. So all that was new to me. So I was athletic enough to make the field, but he would tell me, like, your football IQ is what you need to improve on. So I took that, you know, as a note, like, in the back of my mind, like, this is something I have to work on, you know what I'm saying, in order for me to be the best football player that I want to be. So after my experience at Towson, when I ended up transferring to Central Connecticut State, and they still wanted me to play middle linebacker, even though I was kind of requesting to play outside, they were like, well, if we put you on the outside, they could always just run away from you. You know what I'm saying? We put you on the right side, they could just run the ball to the left. We put you on the left, they'll run the ball to the right. So we'd rather have you in the middle where you could, you know, flow sideline to sideline and make plays. I was like, all right. And then when I got there, I remember my freshman year where, you know, I didn't really get into my playbook as much as I should. And that's why this time around my junior, senior year, when I see freshmen coming in, I always tell them, hey, you know, so you could be as athletic as you want, but if you don't get in that playbook, you know, so you're not going to see the field as much as you want. And that was through my freshman experience. So I made sure that I got in my playbook early, as soon as I got to Central Connecticut. And I remember, like, after the first week of camp, the defensive coordinator, which was my position coach, he would quiz me on, you know what I'm saying, what gap do you have on this play? Where are you dropping on this zone? You know what I'm saying, asking me all these questions, and I would just be answering them, boom, boom, boom. And he was like, I remember him saying, you know, in my years of being here, he said, you probably picked up this defense faster than most of the linebackers that I've seen. Like, he said, it took most of these guys a year and a half to understand the knowledge that you have right now, and it's only been about a week and a half. And, you know, that was a big boost of confidence for me, because that was something I prided myself on. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get in your playbook, make sure you understand the terminology of the game, you know what I'm saying? And not just your responsibility, but how you fit into the scheme of the defense and why he wants you to do, you know what I'm saying, certain things or certain techniques, or drop in the hatch on this coverage, or drop to the curl to flat on this coverage, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when you understand the scheme of the defense, it makes your individual job a lot easier, you know what I'm saying? So that was my biggest transition from going from Towson to Central, was how much my football IQ increased, and I just kept improving over the years, pretty much.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, really shined there during your time at Central Connecticut State, and had some good accolades. I know you were all conference a couple of different times at least. And the other thing that I have in my notes is that you were on the track team there at CCSU, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
How did that work out? Was that just kind of something to do in the off season, or what?
Yeah, so pretty much after my first season at Central, I had midway through the season, I had a small tear in my knee. So towards the end of the season was when I got the MRI. I remember it was like right before the last game, the MRI came out, and the doctor, he had told me, like, you have a tear in your knee. Now, I was playing with it halfway through the season, so I was like, all right, you know, I might as well just finish out the season. I've already been playing. And he gave me the option. He was like, all right, you can either, you know, start rehabbing and get surgery right now, or you can wait till after the season. I was like, you know, I started the game with my brothers. You know, I want to finish the I want to finish out my year with them, this and the third. So I was able to play my last game and finish the season with them. And after that, I had to get surgery. So during the spring when I had gotten surgery, I was out. I was out for spring ball. I wasn't able to participate in spring ball.
Hmm.
So I didn't.
When was that
I
again?
don't like
2019, you said, right?
uh that was this past spring in 20. That was literally this past spring 2022.
2020. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
Yes, yes. I had gone to surgery February 4th of 2022, earlier this year, and you know, I didn't want to just not be active, if that makes sense. So once I was off the crutches and I was able to walk, I wasn't able to participate in spring ball, but I was still going around coaching the younger players on the team, motivating the defense, just being a good team player on the sideline. And in the meantime, I did track in high school and I threw javelin. I ran track and I threw javelin, and I was number one in the state for throwing a javelin my first year.
Hmm.
So in my mind, I was like, I'm not able to do spring ball, but I know, my first time doing the javelin back in high school, I did really well. So what if I got collegiate coaching for the javelin here at Central? So I talked to Coach McCarthy, the head coach. That was my guy. He was a great coach, and he supported me. He said, "Look, as long as you," and he was like, "What about your surgery? Like, isn't it going to affect your leg?" I was like, "Well, I had the surgery on my right leg, so I'm like, with the jab, I plant with my left. So I'm just gonna go out there, take a couple practices. Obviously, if it's hurting and if I feel like it's gonna jeopardize my football career, then I won't do it." So he was fully supportive of it. So I went to the track coach, talked to him, and they gave me a shot. And the rest is history. I ended up making the all rookie team for NEC my first year throwing the javelin and collegiate track. And my thing was just to figure out a way to support the school somehow. You know what I'm saying? So and they were very grateful for it because I ended up helping them earn some points in the conference championships for the track season this year.
Well, hey man, it's nice to be part of a team as a javelin thrower as well. But I know as a team there for CCSU, I mean, you've had a lot of great moments, a lot of great games and plays. Can you walk me through maybe one of your best memories, whether it be like against a great rival or getting a great win or a great play? Can you give me one of those memories?
That's it. Ooh, that's putting me on the spot because it's so many great memories. Honestly,
Just the
just
first one
playing.
that comes in your head, man. Just give me one of them.
Okay, first one that comes in my head would definitely be the sack that I had against Miami. Um, Miami, I believe it was the fourth game of the season, 2021 season. Yeah, because that was for me. That was just such it was more of a mental and like a momentum thing, just to be on that big stage and to have that the sack the way I had it. It was like a momentum booster. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, and it was just kind of like, all right, you know what I'm saying? If you can do this against Miami, you can do this against anybody. You get what I'm saying? So when I made that play, it gave me a boost of confidence that what I'm saying, you gotta keep going, keep getting better. Like, if you can do this against Miami, you can do it against anybody. But me, another one that comes to mind is I remember when we played against this was also the 2021 season, was when we played against Bryant University. Bryant, they were the best team in the NEC coming when they played against us, and I believe we were coming off of a win against Merrimack, and our game was the ESPN game of the week. It was us versus Bryant, and Bryant, they were the number one contender and they were basically getting ready to win the NEC, but they had to go through us. And I remember coming into that game, they came to our home turf, and I walk on the field and I just hear, how loud they were. I could sense the overconfidence. Like, they were moving like they had won the game already before the game started, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, what makes you think you're better than us? So I remember that we got in the locker room, and I was like, yeah, everybody's talking about that quarterback from California, number 4. He's a freshman. You know what I'm saying? He has all these accolades. You know what I'm saying? He's been leading the the NEC and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, they have to go through us, and they have to go through this team and this defense. You know what I'm saying? So we have something to prove. Like, I don't care what your record says. I don't care what our record says. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all about this moment in time right now. And I remember just how fired up the whole team was for that game, where we literally like exposed them for all 4 quarters. You know what I'm saying? We just got after it, and then we just didn't let up. And literally the game ended. The game ended with us. One of our defensive ends, Kelvin Apari, he was a beast. He came off the edge. He had a strip sack for a touchdown in the end zone and literally threw the quarterback into the fence. And you could just tell like they were just defeated. Like they literally limped off the field, and that was it was just a momentum thing. You know what I'm saying? The fact that everyone expected them to win because they were leading the NEC and everything. We just came and just upset them, and it was a great team win.
Yeah, well, I mean, NEC is fairly wide open, I believe. Like each and every year. I mean, there's a lot of great talent. You guys beat each other up a lot. Yeah, Bryant was pretty good for a little bit. You guys, in your own right, I want to say you guys had a fantastic year. Like a couple years back. I mean, you guys like ran the damn table. So 2019 was insane. Yeah, I mean, a lot of great ball there for sure. So, Chizi, want to get a chance to meet you off the football field a little bit. So, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about yourself. That's I don't know, something unique or special that maybe not everybody knows. We've talked about you as a football player and as a track guy and all these other athletic prowess things that you're able to accomplish. But tell me something else about yourself.
Well, me personally, I love Marvel movies. I've literally watched every single Marvel movie from the first Hulk and Iron Man movie that started the franchise all the way up to the most recent one, which was the Wakanda Forever movie. And I'm looking forward to seeing the newest one that comes out, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So I'm a big Marvel fanatic. It's just something about that whole MCU where it's literally every single superhero all tied into one universe. So it's like whatever is happening in the Black Panther movie is gonna affect what happens in the rest of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that fascinates me a lot.
Yeah, all that stuff is intertwined, and it's so much fun to watch. Is there a particular character in the Marvel universe that you either identify with or would like to be? I mean, when you think about like some of those like superpowers or whatever, like is there one of them in particular that you would love to have?
Well, I'll probably say my favorite growing up was Wolverine, because I just loved the X-Men. I just loved the whole X-Men franchise, because even when I was in Nigeria, that's what I grew up watching, believe it or not. I used to watch Spider-Man and the X-Men. And when I was a kid, I used to think like they were real, because I was a kid in Nigeria. I didn't know any better. So I really thought these superheroes with these superpowers, they were real. And that just always fascinates me. So I just love, Wolverine with his claws and his healing factor, the fact that he could get, hurt a million times and just always heal and come back. I just always thought that was pretty cool.
Interesting. One question I love asking guys who grew up in a different culture is food. What is like the one dish or whatever that's like I don't know, one of your favorite ones that you love to have? So tell me a little bit of something about that Nigerian cuisine.
Okay, I'll definitely say jollof rice. And people watching this, they might be Ghanaian, Senegalese, Ivory Coast. But I'm not saying, saying Nigerians have the best jollof. I'm saying my mom, she makes the best jollof. It's always been an argument, a debate, what country has the best jollof. You know what I'm saying? But my mom, she honestly makes the best jollof rice. So she can't make her jollof.
Yeah, definitely wanted to you definitely got to give your mom a little shout out there for sure. So we're all good there. So Chiz, definitely, got a chance to learn a little bit about you off the field. Do you want to steer us back and try and wrap things up? Dude, I know that there's some people that are maybe wondering about you at the next level. Maybe want to know, like, hey, why should I give a chance to this guy and all of that? Can you go ahead and close us out with your pitch? Talk to all those scouts directly and tell them what kind of player they'd be getting if they took a chance on you.
Well, as you as you can tell, this show, it's called Diamonds in the Rough, and I feel like that's been me my whole career. From when I started playing football, even to when I went to Towson and me at Central, I've always just been a diamond in the rough. And one thing that I've always found myself up is just my work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of guys do talk about it, but I'm somebody who likes my actions to speak louder than my words. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm very competitive, and once once I have an opportunity, I always know how to seize that opportunity. From when I started running track in high school to playing football to doing wrestling at Trinity Falling, you name it. Like, I'm just such a hard worker, and the fact that I always see myself continue to improve as the years go by, because I only started playing the middle linebacker position. I started playing that once when I got to Towson my freshman year at Towson, and I didn't start till my junior year when I got to Central, and I made ridiculous strides as the more I played. So even though I had a great season, I in the back of my mind, I'm like, the best is yet to come. Like, this isn't even the ceiling, because what excites me is just learning more about football, especially when I meet a defensive coordinator that knows a lot and is willing to coach me up and, teach me the ins and outs of the game. Like, I'm a product of my coaching, and, how you say it, like, I'm a product of the coaching that I receive, and I'm just able to pick things up and always want to improve. Like, when I'm on the field and I make a great play, awesome. I'm on to the next one. But when I make a mistake, I make it my responsibility to understand why I made that mistake. How I can improve on that and how I can get better as a player. So my thing is, I'm always going to constantly keep improving. My football IQ is always going to constantly keep on increasing. Like, I'm always ready, willing, and able to learn, and that's what excites me the most. Like, on top of my, all this like God-given ability to play the game at a high level, I just love the knowledge of it. Like, being able to learn from a coach or a defense coordinator that has the experience and knows a lot. I just love being able to pick their brains out and learn more about the game, learn more about the scheme, learn more about the terminology, and just everything. Because for me personally, that just slows the game down and makes me a better player. And that's really what I'm excited about. Just learning film, studying, taking notes, all that. What I'm saying? It's like football is like the one class that I get excited about, if that makes sense.
Sure. I think a lot of us feel the same way. Well, at any case, man, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Do appreciate my time with you. And I kind of have to just sort of reiterate. I mean, I feel like you're the kind of athlete who, with really such great raw athleticism, that people can use you in a lot of different ways, whether it be on special teams, whether it be a guy, on the, as an inside linebacker, as an outside linebacker who's rushing. There's a lot that you offer. And as you said, I mean, being a good quality, like work ethic type guy, who can, really just be a sponge and learn from, different coaches and their schemes. So do wish you best of luck in this process, and appreciate the interview.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. I appreciate you having me here. I had a great time.
Sure. Once again, I got with me Chizi Umunakwe. He's a linebacker out of Central Connecticut. Definitely check him out.